Sorry about that, guys. You know, there's troubleshooting and all that.
So guard here has access to theoretically 5 mana. Fired off brain that land. Colorless from the mana drain. Chalice on 1. A pretty viable play in this format, I would say. It kind of shares that with like a lot of 1 mana.
Yep. And this definitely is a fun situation on this type of things, just because of how much was it called? How cheap all the spells are and all of that. Let me pull up
Right.
the what's it called? The opponents list too. I think they're on a version of show and tell it looks like based on
They
their
are,
mana
yeah.
base.
We have a shift and tell, show and tell. But looking to cheat out different things, guard is on the 4 Atraxa spiral. There's only Arco looking to Ulamog. Fair enough. There is the show and tell that'll put out an omniscience on guard side and a 1 ring. So we're gonna get a card draw in response here.
Mm-hmm.
Asked to get rid of this Atraxa. So this Atraxa gonna find a bunch of cards.
Yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed to find to beat this based on the hand that the shift and teleport he was showing Arco is.
We're gonna get I think this is the most played. A lot of matches that kind of feel one-sided. We saw it a little bit in our first one. Snowbally stuff. The Fae of Wishes card here. We got Approach of the Second Sun. On that cast. 7th from the top. Orion revealed in hand. I don't really see how guard loses here. Take their time. Let's just find that.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see a win in from just heal. I don't know which specific when they're they're just playing the approach. Cool.
Yep.
There's
approach.
There's a second what's it called version of this deck that doesn't use approach. That in fact that just use spellmasters over and over again to drain their opponent.
Okay, that's a fun way to win too. Approach is so much more clean and efficient.
It is, but it's an extra card you have to play.
Oh, yeah. You hear Arco, our hero of the story.
Yeah, 100%.
Stonebrain.
Stonebrain makes sense, just trying to get the show and tell, Mystic View, and then in the mirror, Mindbreak Trap can be in the, what's it called? Whenever you 2 Omniscience go on the battlefield, you can get into these very long stack battles.
Very true. That Mindbreak Trap's a good. Ozilek's command all coming out. The show and tell is all come out, which.
It's especially in this matchup, which the shift and tail versus the show and tell, because they're just AI ability. They have the way to win on the turn they cast Omniscience or put show and tell to play, where you're just kind of doing it almost for value. You'll probably still win, but it's just you have more ways to do it. And what is it called?
Build value show and tell.
Yeah, you put some meta tracks into play. You're going. There's some value there. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, so Arco will be on the play here for game 2. A little bit more of these decks. Well, I think opportunity. Okay. All right, I see it once upon a time. It's so crazy to me to jump back to these formats, see cards I haven't seen in eons.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about this format. One that some people are not the biggest fans, the alchemy cards. Because while I'm not the biggest fan of the alchemy format as a whole, the cards themselves are always like super cool. One that I've seen registered today from the newest alchemy set was the Switchblade Teachings, which is red mana, gives the next creature you play haste prowess, and you draw a card. Super simple, but they couldn't put that card in paper and have it work the way it does.
No, absolutely not. So we are seeing the Devourer of Destiny upkeep trigger here. Mulligan. just to slow some stuff down, especially taking out your show and tells. You're trying to play a more fair game here. If you're Arco, more trying to win off the back of your powerful creatures and not, letting your opponent just get a free omniscience into play.
Yeah, you're much on this, and we're playing much more the control route. Like they're probably going to name field here, play field, and do show and tell here.
Yeah.
One because
This
one
probably could be met with a mana drain, you would think.
could be or spell pierce. I know some of you are still on that.
Okay. Well, the shock indicates a mana drain here.
It does.
Mana indeed drains. So that's going to be pretty big for guard on their upkeep. We'll untap with at minimum 4 mana again. There is a Force of Vigor chilling in Arco's hand here, so if an Omniscience does come down, you do have maybe a window to disrupt this Malevolent Rumble.
Well, that entirely depends on if the opponent is playing Born of the Born of the Wind, because that's how you can win in response on out of these list.
That's very true. So 4 mana here. Force of Vigor, the only kind of interaction for Arco. This game could just be over right now.
Oh, 100% could be. That's the cool things about these types of like matchups. And let's see if they're playing any of them.
Rakshas's Bargain is a good thing here for Arco, you would have to think.
Oh, and it's really interesting. The opponent is not playing any copies, main or sideboard, of Born of the Wind.
Oh, okay. So Force of Vigor could do a lot here. Although the Rakshas's Bargain will give Arco at least one more turn of safety here, which is good. External One Ring can come down with the sacrificed spawn. We'll see if they elect to do that. There's another Malevolent Rumble, although you haven't really passed back to the Taste Winter Force of Vigor, so...
Oh, 100%. What is it called? I do love that they use the extra mana drain mana, which would typically go to waste there on that Bargain.
Yeah, that was really nice. Really nice play. Or sequencing there from guard. The One Ring does come down. Choosing to draw a card right now, probably looking for land 4, not finding it. Mindbreak Trap, a good thing to find though. Cracked Scalding Tarn. We'll find Undercity Sewers, which will surveil 1.
And that's why this mana makes so much more of a difference. You're going to dig one more card for effectively free heal, since we were able to pay for that Bargain.
Brainstorm from guard. Brainstorm in a fetch land format, obviously very powerful.
100%. They probably have one half of the combo if I had to make an educated guess here, since they're doing this now.
For the other part, Scalding Tarn again.
Yep. Either that or some interaction of some form.
The One Ring will draw a card here. Traxa is not what you want if you're Arco. You need some lands. So we're about to draw 2 cards. There's the Orcish Spellmasters. That is a pretty mean play there.
Yeah, that does feel bad. On the Yans field, they can actually activate Scrapyard. Get another Yan and discard that Atraxa for this Godfield's Gift.
Oh, okay. 3/3 and a 1/1 now appear on the other side. Still no land drop.
The other option here is discarding the God. What is it called? They can discard the God. I don't know what's in their graveyard actually. Because if they can discard the Godfield's Gift this turn if they want to, but they're probably just going to Malevolent Rumble to get the 4th hand for the Shifting Woodians. Well, they could do it through Rumble, and this puts more cards in the graveyard. So like this Godfield.
Find it.
No, they found the Godfield's Gift to put in the graveyard in the in the Stonebrain. So next turn they can copy it with Woodians and discard the. I don't know if they have the mana to discard it with Trax with the Storm Scrapping it too. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, they're probably taking Stonebrain here. If I was them, that's what I would take here. But I do admit it's a bit rough not hitting the 4th hand.
Yeah, I mean that's 6 cards or 7 cards we're seeing this turn without hitting land 4.
Grant, they still have 4 mana next turn due to the token Limbo crates.
Yeah, we'll get the spawn. That's true.
And they might be able to exile their opponent's approach of the second sun with this Mindbreak Trap. But that would require
19 land list with 4 Rumble and 3 Lorien revealed and 4 Once Upon a Time.
Well, yeah, Lorien revealed though counts effectively as half a hand on each copy.
Stonebrain is indeed the card they take.
Yep.
They will have to.
Are they playing it? Ooh.
Fire off this right now. I like this.
I'm not sure if I do. Let me double check the opponent's list on this one. Pretty sure I saw some spell pierces here. Well,
There are some spell piercers, but that is not what came down here. So
yeah.
Arco is tapped out. There's a surveil land again, this time a head maze. 2 free pieces of interaction though in Arco's hand. You can pitch your tracks at 2 force of anger if you need to. And you do have the mind break trap in case things get really unhinged.
Oh yeah, 100%. They're still going to struggle to win being capped out here due to just having, the 4 mana drain, the spell pierces more than Nike in their main deck, so they could probably count Wizard card. Oh, wait.
Oh, there is Born Upon a Wind.
Maybe I was wrong. Am I looking at the wrong list? Oh no, they have 1 copy. I missed it.
1 copy of Born Upon the Wind.
Yeah.
I found it there. But that time was a value cast. That time it didn't really do much.
Yeah, which
So
keep going.
not binding land again. You can't really activate the One Ring here. You'll go down to 7.
Yeah, and you'll just be dead on that. They're doing it.
I don't know. Or he's fired off. There's the 3 lands we needed to see.
Just 1, 2, and 3 cards too deep. I don't know what they were planning on hitting here. They can Ugin Jab with the.
I think you have to play a One Ring here just to live, right?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, they're what? Oh, they're doing Uyamog. Yeah. Granted, the opponent can just keep every card. Oh, they did Omniscience. I didn't see the Omniscience in their graveyard.
Yeah, the Omniscience got binned off of one of the Malevolent Rumbles here. So
yes.
This turned quickly in Arco's favor, just needing that 4th land to get that Omniscience. But
yep. I mean, they found it.
Yeah, they did, and now you just think they have to have a way to win from here somehow.
I mean, worst comes to worst, they just activate this Stonebane by playing this Ugin Jab. Because have they played it again this turn?
They played an
Oh,
island
yeah,
for
yeah.
turn.
Sorry, it threw me off because the Woody End is not on the field anymore.
Right. Ulamog is exiling a bunch of cards, though.
Yep.
There's God Pharaoh's Gift.
Yeah, and this is probably this, and then it gets the counters for Ulamog, and they have to, what's it called? Sacrifice 10 permanents.
Yep. So there is the win.
Yep. Puts in the 1.
Puts in the 1 with no permanents and good luck.
You'll go. On the next one, Anthony, I'm gonna probably switch over the Discord since this is giving us such a problem with echoing. We'll just for sound on the video side, we'll still use this. I'll just mute us both on the program.
Okay, so I need to unmute in Discord.
We'll just go in the same group chat in our server, the staff server.
I got you.
Oh, well, I guess we have to do it here. Yeah, we'll have to do it here. But we'll deafen the player.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. That way they can't hear us talk about what play they should make.
Okay. Fair enough.
I feel like that might be an even sketch on our end. Okay. They're about to do sideboarding, and they got to figure out where they want to go from here.
Yeah. I mean,
they did. I'm about to say I did miss that Omniscience on the mill when they missed their 4 land drop.
I saw it, but didn't take into account that you can copy it with Woodland, and that's why they were digging so heavily for land 4. I think Arco probably realized they had the win. Just did it for land.
Yep. And I mean, they hit it. Hit 3 of them. Ultimately, the Bowmaster didn't matter outside of the first one.
2 and 3 sideboarding? I can't imagine much.
I'm kind of surprised they're keeping in these Showers of the Voids, to be honest with you. They may just not have any other option.
Looked like Arco might have just moved
Cards
game
around.
pieces around there. I don't think they
Yeah.
signed anything else in.
Who doesn't just use moving around cards? Is all I'm saying.
Okay. So we have the disruptor again. They really enjoy that play. Well, it's been countered at both times it's happened. This is a keep of 7 from Arco.
Mm-hmm.
The Devourer of Destiny turn 1 trigger against. They'll get to look at the top 4. Put 1 on top if they choose.
Mm-hmm. The poor man's Once Upon a Time.
Exile the rest. 2 Omniscience is tough here. You don't really want to draw 1.
Yeah. I mean, the XR too.
I think they just sent them all away here. Disruptor Flute is live. There is a subtlety. There is a brainstorm on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Could fire off this flute now. Would face the spell pierce though. So the brainstorm is live. We do have a flooded strand on board that will crack and pitch away. And now we're going to see the disruptor flute fired off
Mm-hmm.
with no mana available to counter it.
Yeah, and this isn't one of the frog variants that you can. You're playing the Fear of Denial with no blue creatures.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So this is just going to happen. There is no force of negation or will in this format. So
I will say I am hoping we get Force of Negation. It was the Japanese Biobox promo, but I can't find any information on whether or not we're getting on Arena, which typically means no. But we've also got confirmation that Force of Negation is more of a win than a if from YCJ.
I like that. I think this format needs that a lot. I know you're typically against that kind of card, but I think
Force of Negation is fine where the format is now. The issue I have with those types of cards are more with the days and Force of Will aspect of those, which can hit anything. Force of Negation,
that's completely fair.
Yeah, I understand their point in Magic the Gathering, even if I personally don't enjoy the gameplay they create sometimes. One of those things, if they're everywhere, it's kind of iffy, but if they're like, hey, I'm playing this because of X deck, it makes it out. I'm much more okay with those types of reactive spells.
Yeah. I think Force of Negation is, I think, exactly what this format needs, just to keep stuff kind of like this more in check. Give you some kind of counterplay to it, because things happen on turn 1 in this format, you know?
They do, but the funniest thing is the best deck in this format, at least the perceived best deck in this format, is not a combo deck. It's a mid-range aggro deck, through and through. And I think, don't get me wrong, I am well with having Force of Negation in the format, but I'm not sure if that's the piece that this format needs more than anything. I think something. I think personally something needs to happen to Energy at some point to be able to, do what we need to do on that.
All right, so we have a Bowmasters on the other side, 3 untapped mana for Arco. The Bowmasters are going to get him for 2. Looks like Guard choked on lands here. Not finding exactly.
Yeah, that's especially after a brainstorm.
Yeah, very true. This flute gonna cause some problems too. Gonna really delay Guard's plan here. Although Guard does have 2 1/1s on the board, that could theoretically win the game. Probably won't, but it could.
I mean, with these subtleties, I imagine what Arco is wanting to do here is just be able to hard cast a subtlety, block one of these Bowmasters tokens, and then next turn be able to go on the aggressive Depressor and make use of the time that he's made with this flute. Even if he might not be the aggressive, that does make it a little bit more awkward to do so. Actually, no.
Well, this is a hard cast subtlety. Maybe this can just block.
Yeah, and this is just the value.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a good play for Marco, I think. to get this 3-3 on board, kind of stem the tide a little bit. Nice tempo play too, because now, I mean, this is probably going to send that Bowmaster to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to draw this again. They need to find lands.
Yeah, they have to. So like, this is effectively a hard counter for this spell.
Yeah, and it does. I think it does go to the bottom. I don't remember if subtleties you don't get to know or not. There's a Mistrise Village.
You do.
Okay.
That Mistrise Village is not really what's it called useful in this matchup. That's more for the Frog and then the Mirror matchups.
Sure.
That's more where the bug that Scuffle was talking about happens.
Right. Okay.
Because you get into these Omniscience mirrors, and sometimes you do just you have to force through an activation on it halfway through.
That makes sense. So 3 lands in play now.
Yeah.
We're going to get an attack back for 2. I mean, Guard is going to lose this race if everything just stays status quo. Looks like we're debating a second Disruptor Flute here.
Yeah, I do wonder what we name with the second one.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even actually catch what the first one's named on.
I'm pretty sure it's Show and Tell, but I kind of just assumed. I would just kind of assume that one, to be honest with you.
You would think that would make sense to me, but
yeah.
We'll see. The second Disruptor Flute is resolving, and we are naming Mana Drain.
I mean, it works.
It does work. That's a pretty solid name.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Rumble. Worth noting, if this Mistrise Village was a problem, Arco does just have a Beseiju chilling in hand.
Yeah.
I assume they're saving that for any kind of omniscient shenanigans.
Well, I'm kind of surprised they, what is it called? Tap their Woody in here. I don't know if that's another reason, I think. Because they could tap their... Actually, no, they couldn't have enough green mana.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get to...
Yeah, they would. They would.
This year. Okay, so there's a Force of Vigor.
I mean, if
tracks that's going to blow up both flutes. No wonder they both resolved.
If something's going to happen, more than likely it's going to happen now.
Yep. This is going to be a Mana Drain. Yep.
Yep.
That's
that that has to feel bad.
That's actually huge for Guard because that's going to give them mana.
Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if Guard wins next turn.
So, oh man, and Arco has the Force, but they don't have another green card.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a blue card for Subtlety either.
And Guard for sure kept in that border win that we saw in game 2. Like,
yeah.
I would not be surprised if either they have it in hand or they have enough spells to find it. Because between Dig Through Time and Brainstorms, like, you sort through your deck.
So there is the Dig Through Time. The only saving grace here is the Beseiju.
Yeah.
Now, with 1 mana, this will be a little bit trickier for stuff to happen this turn.
Well, so yeah, now they don't have the option to. They're not playing Ugin Zappa, like the Shift and Tail version is.
Right.
So they have no way of making the 2 mana here. So they're just going to do this.
It's worth noting, too, that 2 of Arco's Omnisciences were exiled to the Devourer of Destiny.
Mm-hmm. The other funny thing here is God kept the Force of Vigor in their graveyard so they can the common and from Eldraine that we play.
Yeah, Mystic Sanctuary.
Yeah, they kept Mystic Sanctuary. So yeah, like, they even have options against if he did put the what's it called, God-Pharaoh's Gift or the other thing into play.
The Woodland's a nice draw there.
Yeah, Woodland's pretty good. We still don't have Delirium, which is annoying.
True. Is a 5th land. Because, I mean, the thing with Arco's post-board strategies, like, you kind of do just want to get to X amount of mana and cast your spells, you know?
Like, unfortunately, what I would be doing here is, instead of the Rumble on turn 5, I would have just cast the Subtlety and tried to press a Cocktail.
I think that might have been the right play, but you were going to get heavily blown out by the Force of Vigor anyway.
Yeah. But I understand their play of, what is it called, doing the flute and everything like that too. You're going to get burned out by that no matter what. Summertooth Saturday doesn't stop that.
So, a little awkward here too is the Force of Vigor is hard castable, same with the Subtlety, but the only problem is you don't have the Beseiju as a backup plan. That will still cost 2. There's no legendaries in play.
So, neither one of them are castable, by the way. He doesn't have a green card, he doesn't have a blue card.
Well, they're hard castable.
Oh, Hardcastle. Yes.
Yeah.
But one or the other.
We got a demonic tutor.
Mm-hmm. I have this format.
Presumably, they did not demonic tutor for the hedge maze.
I mean, I've done it before.
Yeah. I don't think you do that to get to land 5. Maybe I'm wrong. So we might, we're gonna maybe just see a hardcast subtlety here just to accelerate the clock by a turn.
Well, it doesn't even accelerate the clock by turn because what's it called? You go to 6, and then if they played it next turn, they go to 3 here.
Well, they go from a 3-turn clock to a 2-turn clock. Is the
Well, yeah, but what I mean is it didn't speed up the clock this turn. It speeds it up for next turn.
Right.
Still the same amount of turns. Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna go to 3. So do or die. I mean, the game is basically being decided. There's no sweepers here or anything.
I wonder if they play the One Ring here and try to draw a mana drain or something. Just to have like backup. Because there's no other.
Well, there is a Mistrise Village too on the other side, though.
Yeah.
I think you just keep. Well, actually, no. So now you have Force of Vigor and Seiju, both as action pieces.
4, 5, 6.
These are both live. You can hardcast both of these. So I think you're just leaving up both of your answers and hoping that gets you there. Because I think the only thing. Okay, so we are going to see the next spell be uncounterable. So presumably this is a show and tell.
Yep. Okay. They're gonna put in out maybe the One Ring. I think they're gonna put in. I think the One Ring's the only thing that does things with the heal.
Maybe the Kozilek, just because.
Oh, the Ulamog, you mean?
The Ulamog. Sorry.
Yeah. Nah, giant spaghetti monster. Which one are we talking about?
Yeah. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's probably the One Ring, but the Ulamog could come down, frankly, just to take options out of Guard's deck. Like, that seems silly, but if you just
that's the cast trigger, so you wouldn't get that trigger by putting it in play.
Cast trigger. You're so right. Okay, so it's the One Ring. It's gotta be the One Ring.
So because you want to be able to hit what is it called? A mana drain off of this if possible.
Okay, so Atraxa here is obviously huge.
Yep.
One Ring's gonna draw a card. Mana drain there would have actually been really nice.
And what's it called? They're gonna Seiju heal and keep the Force of Vigor if they hit another what's it called? Omniscience.
So now here's the other problem. You can't get rid of this Atraxa.
You cannot. Because we don't have the Curious mana sources. Oh.
Right. You're right. Okay, so Boseju's fired off. Take their time in response. Now we're going to get the Force of Vigor on response to that, just to try to slow anything down here.
Well, they're just trying to see if, because this Dig Through Time tells them they don't have the Born of the Wind, so they're trying to find it here.
Right.
So
no, I like this play a lot. I think this is the right play.
Yeah, this is the safe play.
Quite frankly, you don't really have another play to make.
Yeah.
So it's kind of do or die here. So now they can just draw all the cards they want, but you have to find a way to get rid of this Atraxa. And I don't know if they have that.
Do you know what's in their graveyard at the moment?
I don't.
Because
Wait, actually they do. If they draw exactly Ugin's Labyrinth, I think they can get rid of this Atraxa.
Well, they would have to attack.
Devour's not a cast.
Oh wait, no. Yes, Ugin's Labyrinth would do it. I forgot about Devour.
So if they draw Ugin's Labyrinth, they can exile the Ulamog, cast the Devourer, get rid of the Atraxa, swing for lethal.
Yeah, that's their out next turn to win next turn.
And they do have a One Ring to try and do that. They can't take 2 damage from the Bowmasters this turn because of the protection. The ring just came down, right? Or no, it's a cast trigger too.
Yep, that's a cast trigger too. It's
okay,
yeah.
So
technically it enters the battlefield, but it only triggers if you cast it.
Right. Okay. So this is really interesting here.
I think they can afford to take the 2 here. Like, I think you're going to die to this. You're going to die to this attraction. If you don't hit, you can just bail.
Right. You're winning or losing this turn anyway. So I'm just trying to figure out if they can activate the One Ring. They should be able to. Yeah,
because they go down. What's it called? They go down to 5 off the One Ring kill. No, not 5.
They go to 4.
Yeah, and that's not functionally different here.
Right.
between 3 tough.
Island changed the math on anything? I don't think so.
The only thing Iron changes for is Expel Pierce, but like, I don't
But
think
Spell
that's.
Pierce isn't.
I don't think
really
it.
a factor
Yeah,
in this. Yeah.
in this spot, I don't think it is either. Between that and Brainstorm, but they're not. Like I said, they're not playing the free counter spells.
Okay, so they're going to 1.
Yeah, they didn't block. I don't. Oh wait, no, they were tapped. I forgot they said they were attack
Yeah,
phase.
they were.
Yeah, so they're going to 1. And I believe they missed. They could Once Upon a Time and still end. What could they hit off of Once Upon a Time? Because it can't hit the.
Nothing.
It can't hit the One Ring. Yeah, I think that's it for them.
Scrapyard doesn't change anything, right? They needed specifically Labyrinth.
Scrapyard just makes another hand. They needed a second force to one other courier source.
Okay. Let's see if there's any out here. This is a really interesting game.
I mean, I don't think there is because they can block the token. They can block the attraction, but they die to the Orcus Bowmaster thing. They have to find a creature off of this Once Upon a Time. That's the only way they survive a turn.
What? No, it's not. What if they? Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. And this Once Upon a Time just completely whiffed.
Yep. Have you ever had a Once Upon a Time miss? Like completely, like just hit nothing you can pick up.
That found nothing viable.
Yep. And I think that's it for the.
The only thing that they maybe could have done was if they could somehow have gotten a Omniscience into Bin.
Well,
They could have copied it with the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could cast the Devourer that way, but that, they just didn't find anything like that.
Yeah, they would.
I mean, there's dead to a ping.
That also does it.
Yeah.
Won't even give them an attack.
So Guard gonna take this first match here. We're watching 2-1 in a very compelling game 3.